frosty, cold Tristar digging morning. It is cold out here this morning. I think it's mid-20s. We've got a little job to take care of this morning. This is one of those jobs that I get requests about from time to time. How do you start an excavation business? How do you get started in a skid steer business? Well, today's the day that I'm going to kind of walk through that, the process of that. I say walk through the process of it. I'm just going to kind of go through this job that I'm doing today because this is starter jobs. These are jobs that you can do to get started really quickly in the business, and it doesn't require a lot of technical experience or a lot of technical things to do in this. A little bit of laser, running the laser, but it's pretty basic. So that's what we're going to look at today, so let's get started. I got to get the old Mack fired up here. I got to go get 5 ton of rock. We got to come back with that, and then we got to come over here and hook up to the panel hitch trailer, which is over there, put the skid steer on it. And what this job is about extending a parking area, concrete parking area for a house. It's like 10 foot wide, 40 foot long with an angle at the front to get vehicles in and out of it. Simple little job. Let's get this thing loaded up, get the rock we need, and let's get started on this job. And you probably noticed in the background here, this is my 97 F350 XLT 7.3 diesel Power Stroke engine in it. This is a cool little truck. You've seen this on the channel before. There's something missing here. I took the bed off, and that bed is that dump bed that's sitting right there. I've got that bed sold, and once I get that bed sold, I'm gonna start working on this truck, fixing it up a little bit. Probably gonna get the cab painted and all the dents and stuff fixed in it. And then I've got a flatbed that I took off this truck. I'm gonna put that flatbed back on it. I really like this old truck, and I want to get this back in service so that I can use it more. I just haven't used it since I put that dump bed on it. I actually thought that I would use it a lot, but I just didn't. And now then that dump bed's kind of in the way for what I want to do with the truck. So we're going to get this thing fixed up. We'll do that on the channel as we go through the progress of that. I'm looking forward to that. I really enjoy this truck, and we'll get it back on the road. That's actually how I started my business, is that little truck right there pulling the skid steer around. Okay, let's see if this thing's gonna start up, and I sure hope it does. I don't have time to fool with it this morning if it don't start. Okay, here we go. Come on, truck. Alright, the old MP7 Mack engine is purring like a kitten. Let that warm up for a few minutes. I think I'm gonna go get the skid steer started up, fire it up, let it be warming up for a few minutes, so it won't be so cold when I get back for that rock. Well, something I need to go check on right quick is I saw Ruby out here a little while ago with something white, and oh man, somebody's pillow from their house is blown out in here in the field. And Ruby, you have made a mess. What she's done is she's decided to tear that pillow all to pieces and got the pillow fluff all over the field. Ruby, why have you done this? Oh man, that's going to be to clean up. Well, it's not one of my wife's pillows, so at least they've got that going for us. Somebody's going to be missing it though. What's it say? That pillow says life is better on the porch. I wish that pillow was still on the porch. Ruby, oh my goodness, what have you done? What have you done? We'll handle that later on today. Those two right there are best buddies, Bowser and Ruby. Me and old Diesel will pull into the rock quarry here. We've got to get weighed in. At this particular rock quarry, they want you to weigh in once a week to get your empty weight. The other quarry that I go to some is once a month. So, but anyway, we've got to get this weighed in, and then we'll run back here and get our rock loaded up. At this quarry, you got to call in because they don't have a scale master here on the site. Hey, Nikki. Good morning, this is Sam, getting the empty weight. I'm getting 5 ton of 57s. All right, thanks. Bye. And we weigh 24,960 pounds, just tad under 25,000 pounds. And according to the scale weight there, me and old Diesel didn't gain any weight over the holiday weekend, so that's pretty good. Christmas and New Year's have just passed, and it is January the 2nd, and it is time to kick off a brand new year with a lot of good work and a lot of good videos coming your way. Okay, here comes the rock man right now. He's going to load me. I don't even have to go back out of the back. That'll be good. I'm going to try to do more videos. I'm going to try to do a couple a week once business picks up a little bit, and that'll give y'all more to watch. I'm just curious, you know, if the views stay consistent or stay up by doing a couple videos a week. Thank you, Bill. You have a good day. Well, that was convenient. Old Bill brought me the rock to me. That saved me a little time. No, not much. Just to go the other side of the quarry there. Let's get on the scales here, call Nikki back, and we'll hit the road. We weighed in just a tad under 25,000 pounds, and we weighed out at 35,000, I think it's 280. So, a little over 10,000 pounds of rock. And the way this quarry works is we have to pull up here to this box and get our ticket. And it's way up in there. Oh. That's what's aggravating, is sometimes you can't get it out. It's way up in there. And you get stuck. All right, so we got the net weight was 5.16 ton, which is right on the money what we're looking for. And on this 57s that I bought, we paid $30 a ton for the 57s. And then that comes to a grand total with tax of $168.88. When I bid the job, looked at it, I priced my rock at $167. So I think we got pretty close on that. Now we will head back and get the trailer and the skid steer, and off we will go. Last time I videoed myself backing into the trailer, I got it on the first try, and there's some recommendations about getting cameras and making it easier. And that is true, and that's what I'm using today. I've had a camera on my other truck for a while, backup camera. So let's see if we can get it first try. I can't really see the hitch, but I think I got it right there. Look and see. Yep, got it first try. So I'm right over the top of the panel here now. That I can just drop this down and trailer hook up. But this is the camera that I was just talking about. This is a Bluetooth camera. You just simply set that wherever you want it and hook it up to your phone. Let's show you what the view looks like inside the cab here. So here's the view on my camera, and I'll point the camera directly at me holding the that's a pretty good view right there, isn't it? So that's the backup camera. And that's a pretty cool little deal. Insatech, I guess is the name of it. I'm not sponsored by these or got any affiliation with them, but that's a pretty cool little camera. Now then, we got that backed in there. I'll get that hooked up. I want to get the skid steer running again, let that warm up a little bit while I'm hooking up the trailer. And where I have this on my Ram truck is right here, right over the top of the hitch, and it works out great for that. I'm going to try something different today, loading this skid steer that I normally do on this trailer. These bars that are on these ramps are really aggressive for a rubber track machine like this. They work great for the dozer and for the 313 with the steel tracks, but like I said, they're pretty aggressive. They're tall, and there's a lot of room between them, and it's just really hard. It just cows over and gets all bumpy. Put these boards down, see if that's going to help a little bit. There is a little bit of frost on this trailer this morning. I hope that's not a mistake that I'm fixing to make. Let's get this thing loaded and see what we can do. Up we go. That's what I figured. It broke them right off the bat, right down at the bottom. If I get up here on top of the boards and follow the machine over, come on machine, fall over. There we go. Nope, that's too slick. I can't climb that. Wow. Wow. Well, here we go. I made it. Now then, just get it a little bit farther up here on the trailer. We'll get it chained down. It'll be in good shape. That was a little slick, but it worked out okay. We got the machine loaded up, a few hand tools and the packer, a few things I needed. Diesel and I are headed up the road there to get this job done. And I want to talk a little bit about this job on my way up there. And as I mentioned earlier, it's just a small job. It's one of those kind of jobs you get started into and if you're just starting out the skid steer business. And the toughest thing about this job really is just the logistics. I needed to get 5 tons of rock up there, and it would have wasted time if I had went up there with the truck and trailer, my Ram truck and trailer, had gone up there and done the dirt work that I needed to do, and then come all the way back home, pick up the dump truck, go get rock, take it back up there, spread it, and then get everything home. So that would have taken up a considerable amount of time. So in this situation, I've got the dump truck, and so I went and ran and got 5 tons of rock, come back, hooked up my trailer and my skid steer. Now, granted, you cannot haul this truck fully loaded with rock. It holds 20 tons of rock, which is 40,000 pounds. You can't then hook a trailer and a skid steer to it because you're going to be grossly overweight, big time overweight. But with 5 tons of rock in the back of it, I'm well within the limits of what this truck is capable of doing, and with a light skid steer on the trailer. So saying that, I was able to now go up there in one trip, get the work done, and come back in one trip rather than having to do a lot of running around. So if you're just starting out in the skid steer business and all you have is the truck, trailer, and skid steer, well then you just need to find somebody to haul you the 5 ton of rock that you would need. This job's really easy. It probably take an hour or less to dig out the little footing for the driveway extension, and then a few minutes to spread this rock and pack it in, and we're loaded up coming to the house. So it's a real simple job, and I'll talk a little bit more about it once we get finished, talk more about how I priced this job and how long it actually took, and then whether or not I charged enough for it or I didn't. I probably didn't, but I'm trying to help Daniel out, the concrete guy that I work for. He needs the work, I need the work, it's kind of slow. So in those situations, you can kind of discount your price a little bit. 1, for him to get the work, and 2, for me to get the work here in the wintertime. But anyway, let's head up the road and let's get this job taken care of, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. I've made it to the job site now, getting ready to unload the skid steer. And one of the toughest parts about a job like this is the confined space. Where I'm parked, you'll see in just a minute when I turn the truck or the camera around, you'll see there's driveways just area so far, mailboxes in the way. Don't really need to block mailboxes either, but this is a situation. So I got a driveway here, a driveway there, the driveway where I'm going to be working, and then a driveway right on up. And it's very difficult to get this truck and trailer in position where you're not blocking driveways or whatever. I did have this house blocked. I had to move a little bit so that guy could get in and out with his vehicle, but I think right now I'm in pretty good shape. Let's get the machine off and let's head down here to the job site and take a look at it and see what all we got to do down there. That wind is brutal. My goodness, it's cold. Thought I had on too many clothes and left the house and took off some long johns, and I wish I had them back on now. Oh, I do not want to hit that mailbox that's behind me. That is for sure. That would be kind of costly. It's gonna ease off here. Hopefully I'm hitting those boards. Or you just cannot see backing this skid steer off. I think we're gonna be in good shape and miss that box. Still on the ramps, that's good. And I can't even hardly see those ramps. I hope I'm on them. Oh yeah, we are in good shape. Broke that board again, or no, broke the other one now. Off the trailer, and it didn't hit the mailbox. That is a good thing. One thing you definitely want to do, especially when you're working with concrete, asphalt, whatever, is document any cracks or problems that's already there. Obviously see a crack going this way, a crack going that way, and it's a little bit of a messed up part right there. You just want to kind of document that stuff before you get started. And we'll go ahead and walk down the driveway here. Actually, I'm going to go off right here, so that'll be good for now before I back the dump truck down here. I don't know if I'm going to back that way or get in the grass. Hopefully that grass is not too soft. I can just get the dump truck off and go down through there. Let's head down there and see what we got. While I was unloading tools, I also noticed another crack right here in this piece right here that runs up and runs over the side. And then you want to look at all the other pieces of concrete in the area where you're going to be working, which are all these sections right up through here. And all these look pretty good. Daniel has already marked it off for me, so we'll take a look at that. I'll kind of get my back to the sun so you can see it a little better. And then we'll get laid off here and ready to go. So basically what we're looking at is coming 10 feet off from that existing concrete pad coming over to here. And you can see Daniel's white line coming up through 40 feet. And then when we get up here to the 40-foot mark, we're going to angle back into the concrete driveway right there. As we are digging that out, what I want to mention is the spoils are going right over here. There's a pond there and there's a dam back slope to a dam. We're going to take that dirt back there in the grass and kind of put that in some low spots, kind of track that in the best we can. Anything left extra, we need to just throw it over there, and those weeds are going to work for us. So let's get to digging and see what we can get done here. Laser set up here. Basically what I want to do is get some measurements, and I want the rock to be 4 inches from the top of this concrete pad. So after taking those measurements right there, the back corner where we're going to start at is already 2.5 inches lower than this concrete pad. So we've only got to go 1.5 inches below that to get our rock to where they can get a 4-inch level pad on that. I hope that makes sense, but that's the main thing you want to understand is your grade. And that's going to take a little bit of work if you're starting out new in a skid steer business or mini X business, is learning this right here. And it's not hard, it's not rocket science, but it does take a little bit of thinking, a little bit of practice. One thing you want to do, because this is a really nice yard, is makes a bunch of wide turns when you're working in the area that you're not going to be digging out, because you really want to destroy these people's yard, do as least amount of damage as possible when you're doing this. This is really easy digging too. Ain't no problem digging this out. Got our first bucket full. Let's run it over there, see where we're going to start taking this stuff, and come back and get another one. Now, the area where you are going to be working, you can just spin around and do whatever you want to, because it's not going to matter. Here looks fine. Once I get all the dirt over here, I'll just kind of spread it out a little bit and get it tracked in. It's hard to spread that grass that just clumps up, but we'll do the best we can with it. What I'm going to do is start up here at the top and push all that dirt down there to a spot, and then when I get a few piles of it piled up, I'll haul it down there to that other place at the pond. Just try to get most of this hogged out into a pile here. Once you cut through that grass, it digs pretty easy, but getting through that grass is a challenge sometimes. This ground's good and soft though. avoid getting dirt on the concrete, you get kind of a bucket full like that in your edge, and then just scrape it out away from the concrete. And that'll kind of minimize your exposure to that concrete with dirt and with your bucket. So like this little sliver right here, I'm going to grab that. Then I'm going to start easing the bucket away from it a little at a time. Tell you what, you can see that better if I set the camera up in a different angle. Okay, I'm back up here, and then we'll come back and get another shot at that. So what you want to do is come in kind of straight, get you a bite of that dirt, and then just kind of start peeling it out and move away from the concrete like that right there. Because if you just plow right down through there, that dirt's going to roll up on the concrete. It's not a big deal. You can clean it off with a broom or blower or whatever, but it just saves you some extra work if you'll just roll that stuff away like that. I got a piece on there right after I said that. Got everything worked over here in this corner now. Well, this part of it. Now, it's hard to get the machine in here to get this dirt because of this triangle piece. So I'm just trying to get the majority of this loose stuff out. And that way I can kind of finish and fine tune this corner here. Looking pretty good. We measured, and somewhere or another got a little bit off on this side right here. I'll step over here on this side and we'll take a look at where I've got to take a little bit more out. If you can see that white line, dotted line right there, kind of like a little pie shape going back to the skid steer. Take about 5 minutes to knock that out, and then we'll have this pretty well on grade and ready for rock. Now, I'm in here, and what I'm just going to do is stick my bucket against that bank and cut right down that line. Scoop it out here in the middle. Okay, I got that cut out. Easy as that. Now I'm just gonna get this dirt hogged out of the hole here, and then be ready for some rock. Okay, I think we got this one taken care of and got the rock put in there. Daniel, where you going, Daniel? I was going to put you on TV here. Daniel's a concrete man. And what I've talked about in past videos when people contact me about how to start a skid steer business or how to get work, making contact with a guy like Daniel. I met Daniel on a job through a mutual friend, and then since then Daniel and I have worked together. He's poured stuff for me and I've done stuff for him. And Daniel can tell me if this is true or not. When these concrete guys, they need something dug out, or they need footers dug, or they need a pad dug out to work, what's it doing? It's holding y'all up, right?
It's holding us up from getting stuff done if we can't get nobody in there.
Almost always waiting on an excavator to get, waiting on somebody to get.
Or somebody.
So if you can find you some Daniels in your neck of the woods, some guys that do concrete, that's a surefire way to get some work started, and you build that relationship going on there. And I made a boo-boo on this job right here, and I'll tell you about that one when we start breaking down the cost and what I mentioned, breaking down the cost and what this job paid and all that. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. I guess you do want to see it though. Think about that. What my boo-boo is, I'll go ahead and explain this part of it, is I took out too much dirt. I was in a hurry. I didn't spend enough time getting out and checking my grade. I dug out too much dirt. If I'd brought another couple ton of rock, that would have fixed our boo-boo. But there's extra concrete that needs to go in here, and I get to pay for it. So we'll break that down here in a little while. Headed down the road, and I thought I smelled something when I left the job site. I got the skid steer loaded up, truck loaded up. Now we got more problems. I started smelling what I smelled like gear oil, and now that I'm pouring oil out the top of this transmission, I say pouring oil, it's leaking pretty good. I'm gonna try to get this thing home and before we have any more problems with it. Then we'll try to figure out what that is. Well, I tell you, when it rains, it pours. And right now it's pouring. My goodness, there's always something going on. But anyway, it's not leaking so bad that I think I ought to stop. But I do need to get home as quick as I can, that's for sure. Let's get this thing on the road and we'll be there in a minute. Well, we made it home and no problems with whatever the issue is with that oil coming out. I guess I'll take a minute here and try to figure out what that is. I didn't run hot on anything. Nothing was going crazy, so that's a good thing, but I need to figure out where it is coming from. I crawled underneath here, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but there is oil all over the side of this transmission. And the bad part is I can actually hear it in there bubbling. So I guess I got it hot. That's not a good thing. I don't know how much oil I lost, but it can't be a good thing that's making that kind of noise bubbling in there like it's hot. There's oil all over this thing. I guess what I need to do is raise the bed up to where I can actually look in across the top of the transmission and see if I can see anything on top. I just hope I didn't cook that transmission, because that will be a little bit costly. Do a little bit more investigating and see what I can find out on it. I don't know if I'm gonna fool with it much today or not. Today hadn't been a good day. Oh. Looked around a little bit more on the transmission there. I couldn't find anything. I've texted Lucas, so Lucas get back with me and he'll come take a look and see what might be wrong with the transmission. So let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the day. Well, let's take the good first. The good was I got a job done, and Daniel was able to get his concrete poured there and get that job taken care of for him. And two, it gave me something to do for today as well. Work's been kind of slow. The bad is, it cost me $400, my mistake, when I dug that hole a little bit too deep, got too much dirt out of it. It's going to take about 2 more yards of concrete to cover my mistake. So hence there's $400. But I do give old Daniel credit. He was going to split that with me and cover 200 of it, and I told him no. I said, it's my mistake. I'm going to pay for it. It wouldn't be right or fair for him to lose $200 because I messed up. But I just got in a hurry, and I just wasn't paying attention. I was just doing it by eye. I should have got out and done some measurements with the laser, because I'd already done that in the morning. I knew where I needed to be, but I was just in a hurry. But anyway, that's just a mistake that I made. So the ugly is, so we've covered the good, we've covered the bad. The ugly is, I don't know what's wrong with the Mack truck. Oh man, I hope I'm not regretting driving that thing home. I don't think it was out of oil, and I was actually watching the temperature hand on the transmission in the truck as I'm on my way home. and I didn't see it getting warm or getting too warm. And so I don't know, we'll just figure out what's going on with the transmission there. So let's talk about the nuts and bolts of this job. I went and looked at the job for Daniel, and it was a 10-foot by 40-foot wide addition to the concrete driveway. And so I looked at it and I figured it'd take about 2 to 3 hours worth of work to dig it out, put the rock in it. I calculated the rock at 5 ton. And so that 5-ton rock I calculated around $167, I think, if my memory serves me right. And about 3 hours worth of work. I priced that job at $1,000 to cover getting there, getting the job done, getting the rock put on it, and getting back home. That's about $500 off of what I normally would charge for a job like that. Work's slow right now. There's not a lot going on, and it helps Daniel get a job done or get his costs lower to be able to do that job too. He's the same way. Hadn't worked a whole lot this winter either. So it's just a kind of an effort there, a team effort, so to say, to kind of reduce the price and try to keep working. So here's the situation about that. So the rock costs about $167, and I set a bid the job at $1,000. So that puts me down to about $825 or so for the job. Well, I made a $400 mistake, so you take off $400 for that. So I ended up leaving there with $400 in my pocket and a broke transmission. So I just don't know that I come out good today. But anyway, that's just a part of work. That's part of life. So when you're bidding jobs like that, and I bid that one really, really tight, and too tight actually, and that one came back to bite me because I just basically messed up digging that hole. So it's the little things in jobs, it's the little things in your business that's going to cause us the most problems. And so it's important that we look after the little things in life, not just in our business, but we also look after the little things in our personal life, because that's where a lot of problems come from. The little things end up turning into big things if they're not kept in check and not dealt with. And that's the message that we want to talk about today. And there's just a short passage of scripture that I want to look at in the Song of Solomon. And if you're not familiar with the Song of Solomon or not much know much about it, Song of Solomon is basically described as a love song between Solomon and a Shulamite woman that's described in this book of the Bible. But what I want to pay particular attention to, and let me cover this though. Let me say this: this book, Song of Solomon, is between Solomon and the Shulamite woman, as she's called it, and it's their conversation back and forth about their relationship. But here's what's interesting: in verse 15, it says this. It says, "Catch us the foxes, the little foxes, that spoil the vines, for our vines have tender grapes." And that passage of scripture is talking about taking care of the little things in this situation, taking care of those little things in their love relationship between the two of them, so that it doesn't mount into a big problem. That's where we make a mistake in a lot of things in our lives, is we're not taking care of the little things in our life that end up turning into big problems. And what Song of Solomon's talking about there is take care of the little foxes. Why? Because the little foxes got into the vineyards, and the little foxes destroyed the vines in the vineyard. And that is an example to us that we ought to take care of those things in our life, especially those things that we consider the little sins. Wow. Boy, isn't that an excuse? We talk about the little sins. It's not a big deal. It's just a little sin. Well, those little sins cost our Savior his life. And so when we commit those sins in our life, that grieves the Holy Spirit, so to say, in that we have the Spirit living inside of us as Christians, as believers. And so if we don't take care of those little sins, they begin to cause turmoil and trouble and frustrations in our life that grow into big problems. So I hope this has been an encouragement to you. I hope that it brings us to a point of understanding that we ought to take care of those things in our life. And I hope that you do that. I hope that this brings to your mind and to your attention some of those things in your life, and I know it certainly does mine, of those things that need to be taken care of and gotten out of our lives. Whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in your marriage, whether it's in a friendship, whether it's in a work relationship, or just the way that you do business. Get those little things out of your life that are causing big problems. So God bless you, and I appreciate you watching.